Okay, here we have a question about comparing distributions. Now these questions sound very innocent, but they are amongst the worst done of all questions. Okay, so generally this question will be for 2 marks, and it's actually, well, the question is very vague. All it says is compare. What you get the marks for is really quite specific. So you need to write 2 statements. Okay, so our first statement, we're going to compare the averages. Okay, now on a box plot, the line in the middle of the box tells you the median. So maths, and we don't even need to look at the scores here. All we need to see is the median maths mark is 20 something, and further to the right is the median English mark. So that tells you, on average, English marks are higher than maths marks. On average, English marks are higher than maths marks. Now, I'm sure in all your other subjects, when you make a point, you need to evidence that point. So to really confirm our mark here, we're going to put in brackets afterwards, median is further to the right. That's our evidence. And a median further to right means the median is higher because it's further along this scale. Our second point for our second mark, okay, we compare the variability, or I like to use the word, not an official word, the spready-outiness. Okay, now if you look at the English, the box in the whiskers, that's telling you the middle half of the data, which the box represents, is much wider than the middle half of the data for the maths, and that tells us the interquartile range is bigger for English than it is for maths because that box is wider. So that tells us that the English data, English marks, are more spread out than maths marks, or than the, capital M, maths marks. Okay, and our evidence for that is box, which is a measure of the interquartile range, the box is wider. Okay, so on these instances, we've got the quite vague word compare, but there are 2 very specific points. Our first mark, we should always compare the averages, and on a box plot, the average we're told is the median, and the second mark, we compare how spread out the data is, how wide the boxes are. Okay, so these are very easy marks, but you do need to know that. Okay, don't waffle. One of them will have a higher average, and one of them will have its data will be more spread out. That's what you need to identify, and that's what you need to state clearly.